selection. So sound selection, let me tell you about it. So sound selection is very crucial to making beats. And I'll tell you, when it comes to making beats, your sounds can either make or break an idea that you have. So I don't know if you guys can hear. As an example, all these sounds, top to bottom, are all lo-fi-ish, reggae-ish, late 1970s. The reason why I know this is because the music that exemplifies this type of sound is reggae dub. Even if you were to listen to this, right? Just the little guitars that I just added. Even the melody I was just humming, yeah. All those can be referenced back to like reggae dub from like the early to late 70s. And so how I like to go about sound selection is finding music that has, basically finding music that has complements to each other. So if you have bass, guitars, and it's reggae dub, typically the snare is gonna be really high pitched, the kick is gonna be really low and sits right in the like back of the mix, but it's gonna be really deep. All the sounds complement each other. And that is how I would approach sound selection. Even with something like this, everything sounds like it's cohesive. So, if you ever want to find a way to figure out if music or sounds that you have can be cohesive and help build you in your sound selection, I would recommend finding music that has that example of it. The sounds sound crazy. The reason it sounds crazy is because the origin and the history of all the sounds, they all complement each other. Meaning, they don't get in the way. They don't get in the way. Every part of this beat right here has its own space. It has its own motion and movement. Even with the drums, if you listen to the drums by itself, the drums don't sound too busy where you can't notice the little rickety melody that you have back here. But it's because they all complement each other. So, sound selection. How do you select sounds? Listen to music where all the sounds complement each other and mimic it. Don't break the rules. Break the rules to break it, basically. Even when you play all the parts by themselves, they have their own, they have their own space. Even if I were to add organ, right? This homie just said organ. Let me go ahead and do this real quick. Hear how the organ kind of like feels like it's behind the guitars? Watch this. It's 82 BPM, by the way. Everything has its own space. Now when you add everything else in, they have that bass line. That's it. Even if you were to add like percussive elements, it's gotta fit. It's gotta fit within its own thing. drag is behind